So we're going to send you the link to the script, but essentially as you get ready for the event, we would suggest that you print out the following things. I would print out the script so that you don't have to have your script open on your computer and the Zoom at the same time. That you have some type of timer, whether that's on your computer or on your phone, because you will be expected to time the different portions of the round match and to make sure that they're even across. And you'll be giving warnings in the Zoom chat to the teams. And if the teams request, you'll also give verbal reminders. You're going to need a coin for the coin toss at the beginning of each match. And you're going to need these Zoom login credentials. So this is if you're in match A, if you're in room A, for example, you're going to open up this document and look for room A, and you're going to use that username and password to log into a Zoom account, and then you'll see your Zoom event. You're also going to need, and I would suggest printing them out, but you could also have them open on your computer so you can copy and paste them quickly, the case pairings and the case questions. So for each round, there are 2 cases. Team A presents on the first case, Team B presents on the second case, and there's a question that each team is responsible for answering. And you'll be reading that question out loud. So you're going to want to have that document in front of you. And then you're going to also be typing that question in the Zoom chat so that everybody can accurately, see it. And I find that when I moderate, it's easier if I just copy and paste it from the document than to spend the time typing it out in the Zoom chat. And then you're also going to have a unique match list. So the match list is going to look something like this, where it's going to have your name as the moderator and all the people that have permission to be in the match room with you in the Zoom room. So it's essentially, if you see anybody in the match room that is not on your attendance list for the round that you were assigned, you're going to kindly ask them to leave. And you can tell them to leave and join the help desk that I, as the organizer, will be supporting. And if it's okay, then I'll send them back to you. But we've asked, because of the fact that there are youth competing in this competition, that we have pre-registration only. Zooms are not open to families unless they're on pre-approved lists. So you're going to want to have this, whether it's printed or just on your computer, up at the beginning of each match to make sure that the people are there that need to be there. Most importantly, you're going to want to make sure that all 3 of your judges are there. I'll be sharing you my cell phone number so you can text me if any of the judges do not show up, so that we can find where they are, or we will send you a replacement judge for your round. So that should be your first priority, making sure that your 3 judges are there. And then after that, you can rely, hopefully, on the coach for each team to tell you whether all the students that need to attend for that round are present. Each team needs a minimum of 3 students for a round to run. So even you'll see that there's maybe more than 3 students on each team, but they only need 3 to begin. And then you'll see a list of observers for the teams that are having observers sent. Okay, so you're going to do the following with the Zoom logistics. So you're going to use the login to physically log into Zoom. So you're going to go to zoom.us and log in using the username and password provided, and then find the My Meetings portion of that Zoom account and open up the match round that you were assigned. And then you're going to rename yourself. We really would like you to be there about 5 minutes before the match begins so that you can make sure that the following things are set up so that the rounds stay on time. It's really important that we try. Thanks, Miranda. Yes, there is a maximum number of students that can be active in any one round. So each team can have 7 students attending a match, where 2 of those students are alternates who are not actively engaged in the round, but are there to substitute in the case that one of their teammates has a tech issues. So that's 5. It needs to have 3 to 5 students who are actively engaging in the match itself, with up to 2 students who are kind of in observer mode and would only be subbed in if you have to pause the round for any technology issues. And the coaches know, so if a student's having problems, you pause your timer, you say, can we figure this out? If they can't figure it out, then the coach knows that they have the opportunity to sub in their alternate, and you make that replacement.
Excuse me, actually, so if you have those 2 alternates, are they allowed to come into the conference rooms or no?
No, they are not. They stay in the main room with you. So the alternates are not allowed to engage like team members. They're more in observer mode. Everybody's expected to have their videos on if their bandwidth and connectivity allows. And everybody is expected to rename themselves using the naming conventions, as well as stay on mute unless they're speaking to. So part of the reason why you would want to have this match list, right, is because you're going to be required to build manually the Zoom breakout rooms to make sure that the right people go in the right spots. And if the team has an alternate, that you're not sending them into the breakout room, because that would be a violation of the event rules. So as soon as you join the match, and hopefully you can get there 5 minutes or so beforehand, you rename yourself, and we're going to ask everyone to only use their preferred first name just for privacy issues. We're working with youth, kind of like how we work at Kent Place, right? It's always your first name and last initial, not your full last name. So first name and then the role you have. So for you, it would be first name and moderator. For the teams, it would be, you know, Sarah, Kent Place 1. They might abbreviate it, KPS1 / team member. And if they're an alternate, they'll write alternate. And then you're going to create your breakout rooms. So when you're opening up your breakout rooms, there's a little wheel where you can create settings. You're going to make sure that it's in manually create 3 breakout rooms. And then the wheel settings, you want to make sure that it's auto close after the first one is 5 minutes. So auto close after 5 minutes, and then auto move all participants. And as the people get into the Zoom room with you for the beginning of your match, you're going to start in each one of the breakout rooms moving people. And you'll have a big chunk of people that stay in the main session who are left unassigned because they're not going into the breakout rooms. The different breakout rooms you can name team Kent Place 1, team Dwight Inglewood 2, whatever, as well as judges. So only the 3 to 5 team members plus the 3 judges are moving into breakout rooms. And you need to remember, and this is where I think practicing might help, that you can recreate the breakout rooms, but you always need to make sure that the timing setting is correct, because it's 5 minutes for the first breakout room, 3 minutes for the second breakout room, and then 2 minutes for the last breakout room. So it goes in like sequential order going down. Before you begin the round, you can welcome everyone, make sure they are renaming themselves. So if they're an observer, they would be, you know, John, Kent Place 1 observer, or whatever. And to remind them that to have their videos on unless it's a connectivity problem, and to make sure they're muted unless they are speaking. Okay. So I think that's about it. This is the document, the moderator script that you're going to get that you can print out. The top are the things that you should be doing before the round begins. And then the round is separated into different things. So the bolded parts are like the things that you're doing or other people are doing. And the non-bolded parts are the actual script that you would read. So you'd say, welcome to the first round of the New Jersey Middle School Ethics Bowl. This match is between Kent Place 1 and Dwight Inglewood 2. I'd like to thank our judges, yada, yada, yada. So I'd recommend that you read through this and make sure that you feel comfortable with reading the different parts. Some people like to print a different script for each round and kind of fill things in. You're not going to know who team A or team B is until you do the coin toss. And I think that's about it. The only other big thing is that you're going to be responsible for enforcing the virtual rules. So we're going to send an email that has the virtual expectations, essentially just these things about alternates and Zoom and how people log in and log out. But if at any point during a round there's a question around like the logistics or the rules, right? Sometimes a coach might say, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to go. If you don't think you can answer that question, you can always call me in and I can hop in on the Zoom call and try to mediate the problem. If people are having tech problems, you know, the students can choose to opt out of the round and kind of just go silent for the round or have a substitute come in. If an entire school loses connectivity, then of course that would be an emergency and you would pause the timer and call me in to see if we can troubleshoot. Otherwise, we might have to postpone the match for a later date. Each round should take around 75 minutes, but we have allocated 90 minutes for the round so that you have time to set up and problem solve any type of tech problems. The judges are going to be using an Excel score sheet, and this is in the moderator script. Essentially, we want the teams that the judges vote for to be anonymous. Like, we don't want to know that judge 1 voted for, a particular team. So you're going to be collecting the judges' votes using private chat. So at the end of the script is going to prompt you to chat each one of the judges privately and say, all right, Sarah, who are you voting for? And for each judge, and then you're going to tally it. So the way the scores work is the judges are scoring based on points this year, and the team that hits the most points gets their vote, and each judge gets 1 vote. If a judge scores the same team with the same numbers, so let's say they do 25 and 25 and it's an even split, then that judge splits their vote in half. So half of their vote goes to one team, half of their vote goes to another team. So on a rare occasion that Judge A votes for Team A, Judge B votes for Team B, and Judge C splits their votes, the round can be a tie because it would be 1.5 votes versus 1.5 votes. Doesn't happen very often, but it is possible. It's more likely that you'll get like a 2.5 versus 0.5 or a 2 versus 1 or a 3-0. So you're going to get their votes in the chat, and then you're going to just make sure that you have the Team A and Team B correct, and then you'll announce the winner without saying what judge voted for which team.